I never knew nothing about human trafficking. I never knew that I was being exploited. I never knew. I didn't wake up and be like, oh, this is what's happening to me. It's something that I thought was normal.
80,000 reported missing people on any given day in the United States. At the same time, there are over 10,000 unidentified bodies. There is no national law requiring agencies to share this information, leaving many families in the dark about their loved one's fate.
Today, family and volunteers, they reported cadaver dogs detected a few locations where human remains might have been buried.
You could have a body that was on one side of a county line, and the next county could have had that individual reported as missing, and no one may have talked to each other.
And we just haven't forgotten, and we're not going to stop until we know what happened.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Gone Missing Pod on this mini Missing Monday. My name is Nicole Mercado, and I am joined by the lovely Alyssa Gutierrez.
Hello, my lovely friend. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm ready for summer, and it's not even like the weather. I am just like, and don't quote me on this because this may change as it always does, but like I'm hoping to take a break this summer, have some time off, because I feel like I need it before my head explodes.
Yeah, we needed a break like in January.
Yeah. So, we're working our schedules. Things may change a little bit for the summer just because your girls need a break. And it's just in general from all of the things that we do. But
it'd be like self-care summer.
Self-care summer. I love that. But yeah, I mean, there's things that, like I haven't been able to do and you haven't been able to do for multitudes of reasons, but also like the pandemic, which we're still in the pandemic, but I'm definitely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel right now. It's not, the doom and gloom that it was like when everything was first happening. So
are you sure? Check in with us next week. We may be reporting doom and gloom.
Right. I mean, we will report doom and gloom, but I feel like in general, it's feeling like there's more things happening, like I'm not as afraid to get on an airplane anymore. So.
Well, that's good.
No,
I've always definitely been live free, die hard. I've never feared, but then that could be why I get sick all the time. So who knows,
And I have not gotten sick. So.
Exactly. Their own.
Well,
but yes, I cannot wait, just to be outside like 24/7 again. Once we get past April showers, unstoppable.
Yes, exactly. Oh man. All right, Alyssa, why don't you tell us what our mini Missing Monday case is about today? We're going to get right into it, guys.
We are talking about Jasmine Calloway Host today. And I mean, this is one of those where there's so little and it's going to be frustrating.
Oh God.
Okay. Jasmine was 29 years old at the time she went missing from Gadsden, Alabama on September 15th, 2017. So during that time, she was living with her husband, Mark, and a roommate by the name of Rachel Sears. The article states that there were several small children living in the house at 801 Nakalula Drive, but it's not clear who the children belonged to, whether it was Jasmine and Mark or Rachel or Mark and Rachel or Jasmine and Rachel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
We don't know. Little is known about all the relationships, but Jasmine and Mark's marriage was described as volatile. I'm not sure when they got married, how long they were married for, but the article did state that the household, so I'm assuming that means like the three adults and the children, were planning to move from Alabama to Dawson Springs, Kentucky.
Okay. So that's a move.
Right. Yeah. And then for everybody to be planning to go, I mean, that's like, okay, this is more than, for me in my eyes, I'm like, this is more than a roommate, right?
Right. This feels like someone who's like a part of the family to them, at the very least.
Exactly. So there were some conflicting reports. Some say that Jasmine wanted to stay behind, and I guess the other, Mark and Rachel, were going to move. Who knows where the children were going to go? But other reports claim that Jasmine was scheduled to move, but disappeared the day before they were ready.
That's so crazy and creepy and like,
right?
Ugh.
I get the creeps too. I'm like, no, something's not right here. But the frustrating part is that we don't know what.
Yeah.
So it was actually Rachel Sears, I guess, that gave a statement to the authorities saying that nothing had seemed out of the ordinary when they woke up that morning, but Jasmine was not in the house and nowhere to be found. And I would just like to point out, how is that not out of the ordinary?
Right. That's very strange. Also, why is it that Rachel is saying this and not her husband?
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, he could have, who knows? He could have, but there's no article about it. There's no statement from him. So Jasmine was not found. We know very little about the investigation. I'm not sure who reported her missing, what the authorities did about it. There's also no information about Mark Host, Rachel Sears, or the children living at the residence. And, you know, I guess nobody's tracked them down in Dawson Springs, Kentucky, or they've been unable to. There's also no other personal information out there about Jasmine. This article didn't cover if she has other family, if they're looking for her, or even if they're aware of that she's missing.
That's so bizarre on so many different levels, because it just feels very strange. Like nobody has an answer, but there's no information. You know what I mean? And that's to me, and I could be wrong, but that's a lot of people to be in a house and to nobody, like to have no real information as to where she went or what happened. I mean, she was very clearly, like, as you know, I'm assuming that at least one of these kids, you know, one of the small children living in the house were hers.
Right.
Like, did they not ask for their mom? Like, I just don't know. To me, it's very strange to have multiple people living in a house and then have such little information about what actually happened.
No, I agree with you. So my source for this article came from ourblackgirls.com. And the article just came out this past February in 2022.
Wow. Okay.
So I went by this article. I mean, whoever did the research on that site, they couldn't find anything else. And, the Google search didn't bring up additional information for her. So maybe it's down a rabbit hole that we just haven't discovered yet. But yeah, right now, like, this is what's known about her. Her case is up on Crime Stoppers. So they do have a $5,000 reward to anyone with information leading to her whereabouts. You can contact them at their tip line, which is 215-STOP or 215-7857. And Jasmine's case number is 19004942. You can also contact the Gadsden Police Department at 256-549-4500. Jasmine is 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighs 145 to 155 pounds. She has black and dark brown hair with brown eyes. At one point, she did have a shaved head and was wearing a wig with long black hair. Her middle name is Alyssa Nicole, and she would be 33 today.
And can I ask, I know that they said it was a volatile relationship. Did they ever say if there was any domestic, I shouldn't say domestic violence because they're saying volatile relationship. So clearly there was some sort of domestic violence situations happening. But did you see anywhere where they said police had been called to the home before, or if there had been public disturbance reports? I mean, I would assume there was something, but I feel like, if there was no one called to the home, maybe no one was ever charged?
No, because that article was the most detailed. All the other articles that cover her give, a missing persons flyer and kind of those details.
And they never said, I looked a little bit too, and it doesn't even look like they said if they had moved forward with the move or not. But if they have, that to me is also quite suspicious.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't look like either one have been named as suspects. And so these are very confusing cases to me because yes. I don't know how, we have so little information and why, if they haven't been named if they haven't been named as suspects, do they have information that says that they know they're not suspects, or is it that they don't have enough information to name them suspects?
I mean, it could. That's why there's so little information out there. But I don't know. I mean, 2017, it was only 4 years ago. There's been
5
other
years ago.
cases in 5 years ago. I lost a year in the pandemic.
Honestly, we all did.
There's been other cases from 2017 and on that we have more information about. So I don't know. This one's a little bit of a mystery to me. I wish there was more, and it frustrates me because if this is, how little that we know, who can help find her? You know what I mean? How can we remember her? How can we get her name out there?
Yeah, because it seems like there's so little information. There's so few details on her case that how much was it really covered? How much do people actually know? And what are people like? If you hear the name but don't see the face, do you even know who you're looking for? I think it's important to do cases like these where it is very little information. We don't have a ton, but in order for us to know more, we have to share these cases. And yes, it's frustrating. I promise you guys, it's as frustrating to us as it is to you when we only have like tiny little tidbits of info. But that's why we do this, is because these people didn't get media attention. They didn't get a breaking news story about them. And it's so important that we're able to provide any type of platform to find out what happened to her, because, she deserves justice and her family deserves answers.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Nicole, for doing this case with me today. I'm so glad we got to talk about Jasmine.
Me too. Thank you so much for bringing up this case and talking more about Jasmine. And hopefully, if anyone has any further information, they will be able to give that to the people who need it. Thank you to you guys, our community. We're so grateful for you all. Alyssa, I know you and I are, but we talk about it all the time, that we're so lucky to have the community that we have and see people building. And we've had people say they want to do more and they want to, they also are starting things. And I love that. I think that the louder we yell together, the more people have to listen.
True. Power in numbers.
Absolutely. So thank you guys. We love this community. Thank you, Alyssa, for bringing us Jasmine's case today, getting her face out there and her name out there. I hope we'll get some answers. We also want to say thank you to the Mercado Airwaves Network for hosting us each and every week, as well as our editor and producer, Mike Mercado. You can go onto Instagram or Twitter at The Gone Missing Pod, or on Facebook at The Gone Missing Podcast. You can also become a patron on patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves Network and look for The Gone Missing Pod. Sorry guys, I just completely spaced out on that. Yes, and search for The Gone Missing Podcast. Buy us a cup of coffee as we research. Thank you guys. We are so appreciative. We're so happy to be here, and we will catch you guys all next week. Bye.